reason.
So the idea is not to become less attractive.
A wig that could look so much more beautiful than your natural hair.
Overall, the practice varies depending on religious interpretation, community norms, and personal preference.
Disclaimer. This video was permitted and advised by a rabbi beforehand. The following video is made to stop and warn about incorrect information that is given online about Judaism, particularly about wigs. This is not to shame anyone in this video. However, many are misguided because of the normalization of wigs and have twisted the truth of our Torah and words of our holy sages. Also, this is not spreading gossip or giving a bad name to anyone in this video, and in fact, all of these online influencers that explain why Jews wear wigs leave many confused and put Judaism in a bad light, leaving many negative comments about Judaism. And it's not just one negative comment, unfortunately, it's many, leaving Judaism sounding like a cult and a religion that doesn't make sense, not making us the light over the other nations. Here we will go over 9 incorrect teachings about wigs made to the Jewish communities and the rest of the online audience that are being misguiding by those who twist the truth.
Cover our hair just for the sake of covering our hair.
To cover our hair is literally just to cover our hair.
It's just to cover your hair.
Just cover your hair.
For us to cover our head.
The definition of covering is to conceal ourselves, which means to hide something. Just as we cover our body to hide it, to avoid attention and for self-respect, so too it applies to behavior and obviously a head covering. In Judaism, after a Jewish woman is married, she is required to take a higher level of modesty since she has a higher level of spirituality and is responsible of respecting her new role of being a wife and a mother. As every law in Judaism brings a benefit and also teaches us how to be. If covering is just for the sake of covering, how does it teach us to be a better or more humble person? Just as it's written in a book called Wedding Secrets by Rabbi David Meisels. He writes a clear explanation of why a woman covers her hair after marriage and adds how she must bring an additional level of modesty into her life, as hair is very attractive, and only her husband should focus on it. And 3 big sages, namely the Ger Rebbe, Baba Sali, and Rabbi Shmuel Halevi, all state that wigs do not fulfill the law of covering since it looks uncovered and is a way to fool God.
Hair. It does not specify how.
It doesn't specify how.
It doesn't say how to cover your hair.
Cover it with anything you want.
You cover it, but cover it however you want.
It doesn't matter what I cover it with.
Nowhere in the Torah does it permit a married woman to look like she isn't covering her hair and dress in the way of the wayward woman, whom she was told to take off her hair covering since she was suspected of adultery. By being suspected of revealing herself to a man that wasn't her husband, her hair cover was removed, as after marriage, her hair is seen as private as her private areas. Therefore, her hair was revealed to everyone. But the Torah does specify that a woman must be modest, especially after marriage. And if someone is required to cover their hair, why would a wig be allowed if it looks uncovered and will potentially cause more attention than a scarf? Many rabbis do not permit wigs and highly discourage it for many reasons, and certainly for the reason that there is no permission to do a loophole, and wigs are from the persuasions of the evil inclination.
It is not cheating by covering with hair.
Cheating, no problem.
No, it's not a problem.
Of course, it is 100% cheating, because it is not visible that she is covering her hair, in which again, many of the biggest rabbis are strongly against wigs. One of the reasons is because the wigs bring a Gentile look. As Jews, we have the commandment to distinguish our looks from the other nations and be a presentation of modesty to the world, which the wig fails to do. One of the reasons God punished the Jews with the Holocaust was because most of the Jews integrated with the German society, which is against the Torah, to the point that Jewish identity was almost erased. From abounding the Yiddish language, having non-Jewish names, wearing less modest clothing and participating in German activities, such as attending to the theaters.
Some communities are more strict.
Overall, the practice varies depending on community norms.
In my community, I think that is one of the most common ways people do it.
Each individual's Judaism is not based off of how people behave, but our bond with God and the divine Torah. So if the community chose to go against God, does that mean we should follow them? People's opinions change every so often. That's why we don't rely on man, but only on God instead. The Torah was given by God, and we therefore follow his standards and not the community expectations. Modesty is not a custom, but rather an obligation for everyone.
Really, one of the biggest misconceptions is that a Jewish woman covers her hair in order to look bad for other men once she's married and only good for her husband, which
The husband who wants his wife to wear a wig for her to look attractive is sharing her beauty with everyone else and are taking advantage of it. She does not have to uglify herself, but if she is attracting other men with her luxurious wig, she is causing them to think of her, known as cheating in the mind, and do impure acts due to his bad thoughts that have been created because of her. The head cover signifies marriage, and as the hair is very attractive, the beauty should only be reserved for her husband. But the wig looking uncovered makes her look single and more attractive than she was when she was single. So she is married but attractive more men than before when she was single, and looks as if she is still looking for someone.
Then some rabbis will say it's okay to wear a wig because what's more important is that you're covering all of your head, and with a wig you're
All of the previous and current righteous rabbis praised a woman for wearing a headscarf or a hat over a wig, even if not every single strand of hair was covered. It's simply modest, unlike the wig. It is not the way to look more attractive with the wig than be humble with a scarf that shows a few strands of hair. The wig only attracts attention, which is far away from fulfilling the purpose of a head cover. Wearing a wig leads to many disasters for the individual, as well as the nation as a whole. The scarf symbolizes the looks of our foremothers, while the wig resonates the looks of a modest models. One who wears a wig delays the redemption and loses the merit to be resurrected.
So the idea is not to become less attractive.
This is not about looking ugly or unattractive.
you could cover your hair with a wig that could look so much more beautiful than your natural hair, because this has nothing to do with beauty.
If she wants to cover her hair and look more attractive, good for her. That's great.
And if it looks better than your hair, that's great.
Wearing a wig as a Jewish woman is not supposed to hide my beauty, but enhance it.
This is a disrespect to modesty and towards God, as modesty is very important for a girl, both single and married. Modesty fulfills 70% of her purpose, especially in a highly immodest generation. The idea the wig makes her look provocative is already going against Judaism. And if the claim is that one doesn't cover to look less attractive, why are young Jewish girls required to pick up their hair, since it seems more modest? Yet for a married woman, she's allowed to have her hair out. Majority of the big rabbis, if not all, are against wigs, and those few who permitted it never allowed long attractive wigs. But all these online Orthodox Jewish influencers are very ignorant and choose to go against our rabbis' teachings. And in Judaism, rabbis are seen as God's messengers.
While others may not know that she's covering, she does.
Even if the wig looks amazing and no one would be able to tell that it's a wig, you're still doing the mitzvah.
It's actually far worse if the wig looks natural and looks the same as in covered hair, because our sages have set the ruling that one who wears a wig will be punished as if she never covered her hair at all. In fact, the same way a Jewish man is not allowed to pray next to a married woman if her hair isn't covered, he isn't allowed to pray next to her with a wig on, since it does not look any different to uncovered hair. And many rabbis warn that disasters and plagues derive from the impurity of the wigs, harming both physical and spiritual health. And even if the wig does not come from idolatrous rituals, the wig is the way of the evil inclination and leads many to go off the Jewish pathway, leaving much spiritual damage.
That I am not covering my hair for modesty reasons.
Misconception is that it has to do with modesty. The woman's covering really has zero to do with modesty.
Conception that people have. We do not cover our hair because of modesty.
A married woman is required to be more modest, as our rabbis say. If the wig causes attention, it is entirely forbidden. The rabbis that permit the wigs of today are either ignorant or choose to go with the political correct opinion. instead of fighting against the peer pressure from the majority. The headscarf is the crown of glory for the woman and presents the look of the daughter of the king and of a righteous, modest woman. And if it's not for modest reasons, how comes the very few that permitted wig in the previous generations were very careful and cautioned that wigs should look unnatural and very short, and on top of that to wear a hat to cover most of the wig?